In time, she appears to be by herself at about 4 a.m. on that Sunday morning. On Monday, August 8th, investigators actively began working the investigation and are able to get an emergency ping on her cell phone. However, later that morning, the phone did not continue to ping on Sunday, August 7th. On Tuesday, August 9th, family members have been phenomenal and done a great job of getting us information, giving us leads and tips, in which we followed up on in the area just west of the city of Selma on the Nebraska and Fowler, Nebraska, and Floral area. Many times the family's gone out there and searched the area. We sent our investigators out there with our drones to also search the area. However, we were not able to get any positive results on the location of Miss Fuentes at that time. Additionally, our investigators have authored several search warrants looking for digital data in the way of cell phone, social media, bank information, banking information, as well as any other digital information that we might need to analyze and locate. As that information comes in slowly, not as fast as we'd like, our officers did additionally put out some information on social media that this was missing, and the family has done a phenomenal job in getting information out to not just the Selma area, but all throughout Fresno County and even the nation. So I compliment them because they've done excellent work in getting that information out about their daughter. After conducting additional interviews with family members, we have gotten several leads, or tips rather, that we have followed up on, and none of them have led us to Ms. Fuentes' location. On Thursday, August 11th, we were able to get information from the phone company, from the pings on Ms. Fuentes' cell phone, that led us to a search area near the Pine Flat and Avocado Lake area, which is just northeast of the city of Sanger. In looking at that phone information, we were able to determine that Ms. Fuentes' phone traversed through the city of Sanger and up into that Avocado Lake and Pine Flat area. At that time, as we do not have the resources, such as Fresno County, we connected with the Fresno County Sheriff's Office and their search and rescue team. The Fresno County Sheriff has been phenomenal in helping us with the physical search of Ms. Fuentes as we complete and continue the digital search for Ms. Fuentes. In today's day and age, digital data is paramount to our success in finding missing persons and victims of crime. Our detectives continue to analyze the data and have sent that out to the Fresno County Sheriff's Office, the Fresno Police Department, and the FBI, with the hopes that they can also look at that data and ensure that we're getting the best information from that limited data that we do have. As well as analyzing and taking in all that digital data, the Fresno County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue Team and the Fresno County Sheriff's Office have flown helicopter searches for a total of approximately 15 hours of helicopter time. And we thank the sheriff for that. They have additionally maintained or facilitated 20 hours of searching of the main roadways up in the Pine Flat Avocado Lake area. As well as that, they have 43 hours of searching waterways with their boating. They also this weekend, the sheriff's search and rescue team has a very good relationship with their search and rescue Jeep team, and they have conducted approximately 288 hours by the use of 16 off-road vehicles searching at Pine Flat and Avocado Lake area. They've covered approximately 1,740 ground miles while performing those searches. The sheriff's boating unit has also searched Pine Flat with side scan sonar today, and will continue that search throughout today and tomorrow. To this point, it's very rare that a 23-year-old girl has no digital footprint, i.e. cell phone, social media, bank cards, things of that nature. Additionally, from the onset of this, the Fuentes family was adamant that this is not normal behavior for Jolissa, which again brings us our concern. And while we quickly reached out to the sheriff's office and Fresno Police Department, even on that following Saturday, to have an analyst come down from the Fresno Police Department to help us analyze that data, because we didn't get the data until Thursday, August 11th. Part by we submit the search warrants once they're authored, signed by a judge, and then send that data or send that search warrant out to those social media forums and those other forums that are able to provide us with that data. So it does take a little bit of time. I know that it's frustrating at times, however, we do have to wait for them to send us the data. And once we're getting that data, we analyzed it and came up with the best information we could, and just not to bank on that or be prideful, we sent that out to the Fresno Police Department crime analyst, who helped us also look at the data to get our best information possible. I will say to this point, there's nothing overtly that leads us to believe that a criminal act occurred. However, Ms. Fuentes has been gone for a long time, and this is not familiar or not normal behavior for Ms. Fuentes, so we are treating this as a criminal matter. So this being said, we're doing our best to communicate with the Fuentes family, give them what information we can. However, we do have to treat this as a criminal matter and ensure that we making our best efforts to bring forward a prosecutorial case should the information we received during this investigation show that something of a criminal nature occurred. And that's where we're at today. So with that, that's just a quick summary of where we've been over the last 3 weeks. Does anyone have any questions?
Have searches in that Avocado Lake Pine Flat, has that developed any kind of evidence or any clues to where she might be?
To this point, nothing has shown up. And we continue to follow up on leads from New Mexico to Fresno County. I spoke with Ms. Nunez, Norma, Ms. Fuentes, Jolissa's mother today. Someone called in a tip to her. We took that information, sent our detectives right up to Pine Flat to follow up on that lead, as we did a deputy, to ensure that we got someone there as quickly as possible, so that tipster did not leave the area and thus not have the opportunity to talk to him. So, we're doing, again, all that we can with the resources we have. I will say that this has been equally frustrating for us. Our detective sergeant went home sick last week. Then our primary detective that has this case went home sick this week with COVID. So COVID continues to be a hindrance to us at times. However, we've pulled patrol staff to help in investigations to ensure that we have enough field personnel and the appropriate personnel to address any tips that come in.
Can you tell us a little bit about the map that you have there?
So if you look at this map, this is probably a 15 square mile radius of the area depicting Avocado Lake and Pine Flat. This is the area, the search grid, that were searched by the search and rescue Jeep team. And then you can't see it here, but also here there's 16 vehicles that covered this area here. If anyone's been up to the Avocado Lake and Pine Flat area, you'll know that it is a vast geography, vast area to cover. Right now, our hopes are to try to get the data that we have that search or that information refined so that we can do a feet on the ground search, right? But right now, with what we have based on the cell phone towers, and that's we're using these triangulations from the cell phone towers. We're trying to refine that search area so that we can go down and do a more specified search. However, with what we have currently, this is an enormous area to cover on. So it just is, and we've had Fresno County's search and rescue team members run into the family up there, and they all understand it's an enormous area.
In your experience, what happens after someone goes missing for 2 weeks?
possibility of finding them at this point?
We're gonna find Miss Fuentes. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but we're gonna find her. I mean, as big and vast as this area is, there's a lot of people that will be out there that go out to this area at certain times of the year, right? As time cools, the geography changes, right? That tall brush will lessen, right? It'll be more lower to the ground, which will allow more visibility for searching. We're just unaware right now, correct? And again, to add to that, a 22-year-old with no digital data is extremely rare, and that was our biggest cue that it's going to be an enormous challenge finding this one.
When she made those calls at 5:15 or 5:25 in the morning, can you tell us if she was in Sanger or was she already in the Pine Flat area?
I can't, again, I'm not trying to hide anything. However, we do have to treat this as a criminal matter, and I don't want to get too much information that might hinder prosecution later. And again, I've met, we try to keep in constant communication with the Fuentes family through Joanne Banda, and try to meet with her every day, at least once in the morning and in the afternoon, to keep them apprised of where we're at. And they've been phenomenal, patient, and God bless them and their family as we search for Jolissa. Again, we use the Fresno County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team that's been very successful in the past. It's not uncommon to find someone a year and a half later up in this area because it is so vast. And as the climate changes, right, different activities are going on, and that puts people in different areas of this geography.
In general, how much time are we looking at to pinpoint where that team came from? You said we're waiting for more time to narrow down that search. With the technology and everything that we have going, and everybody's resources, I know it's not your guys' agency, but also FBI, sheriff,
Right.
so with all the resources out there, what are we looking at time frame?
We have to send it out to them, and they put that information into their softwares, and they compute it, and they send it back to us. I can't tell you exactly what the time frame is. Unfortunately, everyone's aware of what just happened up in Northern California, and that young lady that was missing up there. Limited resources are limited, they get spread across different agencies, different situations. We don't know what's going to happen later today. So just like the Selma Police Department, we're doing our best to find Ms. Fuentes. We also have to service the city of Selma as well. We have 25 other residents we have to answer to on a daily basis. So this is not any less important than
I understand that as a family member,
Absolutely.
speaking. And like you said, the press officer did go out sick, but we have a whole team behind Jolissa and are willing to search day and night, as you guys can see and witness. So that's why we ask for any information that we can leave and be out there tirelessly searching. And of course, we do know we got to call up against both of the reins and all the command, chain of command, but if we get something that we get to you guys, and we go ahead and move forward from there.
And we do appreciate that. You guys have been phenomenal getting this information. Again, we just have to be cautious. That God forbid we have to do we have a prosecution later, that we don't divulge information that's crucial to that prosecution. And that's just, I know that it's hard to digest, especially as time goes, frustration grows, and concern. Again, I compliment you as a family because I'm a father. I would do everything in my power to find my daughter. And I absolutely empathize. The reality is we just have to be mindful of that possible outcome.
From what we know about this case, do you believe she's still alive, or is this a recovery effort?
I always want to expect the worst and hope for the best. And that's what I'll say to answer that question. We have
August 7th is when she went missing. That first Be on the Lookout came out on the 10th. Why the delay, or several days delay?
I honestly can't answer that question right now. However, what we do is once they're taken as missing person, they are entered into the database. So the vehicle, license plate, and her into MUPS, she's entered into that database. So if law enforcement comes across her or that vehicle, they have reasonable suspicion to stop the vehicle, and then if they run her name in the database, she should pop up as a missing person.
How quickly did that happen, do you know?
That would have been the day that we took the missing
The
person
7th?
report on the 7th, yes. Yeah. But putting the flyers out, again, those things will come shortly after.
Chief, can you confirm if she was by herself or was someone in the car with her when she drove through Sanger and up into Pine Flat? Is that something you can
Well,
confirm?
we can't answer that information right now. If we knew, it would be, something we'd have to, for purposes of the prosecution or criminal matter. However, as far as we know in the video we've looked at, she's been by herself. And that was through the city somewhere.
So I just see her leaving the convenience store, heading westbound on Nebraska. She came back for the car or Pine Flat for the Singer area, so she obviously came back into town, correct?
Yes, she did. And she was by herself in the video that we see.
And there was no phone call made to say why she came back into town?
Again, sir, I'm getting into her specific phone calls and to whom we would consider that as parts of the investigation.
Are we also?
And I'm not saying that there was, I'm not saying there wasn't. Again, we just have to be mindful, and God forbid we don't have to prosecute a case. I'm hoping that we have a great outcome, Mr. Fuentes.
We've also heard something about an argument prior to her leaving. Is that something you can elaborate on?
I cannot elaborate on those things. Again, we follow up every lead that comes in, and we get a lot of leads. And as de minimis as they may sound, we follow up on them to the best of our abilities. Again, that's why we just brought in, though we're short on patrol, we're down 6 police officers. We brought a patrolman off of patrol to assist investigations to ensure that we are able to follow up on those leads as quickly as possible.
And the tips for today in Pine Flat, what made it go cold or what wasn't, why wasn't it fruitful?
I would just say that the information we saw after speaking with the investigative lead did not corroborate it being Ms. Fuentes' vehicle. And I spoke with Ms. Newman earlier today about that.
And when you say she has no digital footprint, does that mean that her phone was on and suddenly is not on anymore, or did she just not have a phone with her at all?
Well, a phone only tells us that the phone is pinging or that it's on and that we can calculate where it's at. It doesn't tell us if it was turned on. We assume that it's turned off or it went dead and hasn't been charged. It doesn't tell us that she was with us. It just says where the phone is at. And our phone leads us to this area. It doesn't say that the vehicle is up there. It just says that's where the phone is in that area at that time. And based on speaking with family that Ms. Fuentes had visited that area in the past for her own personal reasons, we thought this would be our best best place to search. Right now, obviously, we're looking for that car because it's the biggest piece or object that would be easiest to find. We would love to find her phone. We would absolutely love to find Ms. Fuentes. But right now, finding a vehicle is much easier than finding a phone. If that phone is off, and while that phone is off. And to this point, the phone has been off for some time.
No, we're not trying to hinder anything that you guys are doing, because myself and wife, we believe you're doing your job. Sometimes when you put too many potatoes in the soup, it gets spoiled, like, where you're coming from. And, to us, you as a father, mostly you are. Of course we do it. And to, if it happens, it's wonderful, she walked in the door right now, but we know she's coming. So don't think we have any, thoughts against anybody that's doing this, including you guys or anybody. It's just, we're a family. And
Absolutely.
family wants their child back, But we're not thinking anything odd or unworthy or anything from the officer.
Mr. Fuentes, we never take that personally. I can't even imagine what you're going through. I spoke with Norma and Miss Banda I think it was last Sunday. I apologize. It started on August 1st, and it's been a whirlwind since coming to the Selma Police Department. And this investigation came to us shortly after. But we did meet at the vigil, and I absolutely understood and understand where you're at. I'd be just as frustrated and confused, and I would want everything in the world to find my child. So I absolutely get it, and we take no offense. You all being here, everyone, your family, everybody being here is exactly what we want. The more eyes that we have talking about Jolissa, the better off our odds are of finding her. So, absolutely, sir. That's all we want is to find Ms. Fuentes.
All we ask as a family is keep that line of communication open with us as much as possible, and we want answers as much as anybody else, if even more so, so.
Understand. Well, what I'll say is I communicate through Joanne Vanda every day. Since our primary investigator that was officially handed the case is sick, we've turned it over to Detective Figueroa. So I'm going to be communicating with Joanne. I called her this morning as soon as I got into the office. We spoke Friday afternoon when they got the information about the tipster from New Mexico. So if there's a good, honest lead, we're going to keep the family apprised of that, as long as it doesn't hinder a criminal case, if you will. And again, there's nothing to say that the criminal matter occurred. However, we have to keep every option open, right, for purposes of investigations.
Can you tell me about the vehicle?
I'm sorry.
The vehicle?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's a 2011 Hyundai. And I apologize, I don't know the license plate off the top of my head. But it's Mary Union Paul. Hey, Mary Paul Union, I apologize. I'm getting old in my brain. But, again, the Fresno Police Department, Fresno County Sheriff's Department, our federal partners we're all working with each other to ensure that we're getting this data and we're using it to the best of our ability. Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
What, in your opinion, what do you think is possibly where she's at? Do you think she's being held captive? Maybe her car is out in the wilderness? In your opinion, where do you think she might be?
It would be improper for me to suggest anything, because every option is open. We have to conduct a thorough investigation. We have to keep all of our options open until we get information that kind of refines our search or it goes. So right now we have to conduct this as she could just be on the side of the road somewhere. We have to keep everything open at this moment. It'd be improper for me to speculate. So I'm going to just kind of give this interview and then wrap it up from here, sir. We've got lots of information that we've got to get to. But again, I'm not trying to be difficult. That's why I wanted to do this. I will tell you that since this case, we have spoken with news stations as best we can, and it just consumes a lot of time. That's why I want to bring everybody together to just get the information out to where we are. We're not hiding anything. We're trying to be as transparent as we can. I would love to give you more information, but I have a responsibility to the investigation and to the family.
So on behalf of the family, thank you for having the press conference today.
Yeah.
And please, all we say is keep that line of communication open as much as possible, please.
Absolutely, and with that, we've kind of central pointed speaking with Joanne Vanda, so that it just saves time and we're more efficient. And I don't, you can go to a crime in today's day and age, and two witnesses say, I saw a green car, and the other one say, I saw a blue car. So we just have to be very careful, especially now, because everything that we say, we're responsible for. And we want to be able to get information out that's got to be the best information with that balance of the things that we have to consider.
We're glad about this, and we don't want to do them out. It's so easy. They're on it.
Yes, they are.
Believe me, they're on it. So thankful, really seriously, guys. That means a lot to us. Because I understand their viewpoint of disclosing. I understand that. This is like in this room right now, the way I look at it, also is, we might be saying something about the thing and everything, and I'm sitting here and I'm hearing everything, and all of a sudden, they're getting close to us. You know what I mean? So you have to be very careful what's being said. I understand all that, and that I appreciate. But, like I said, even the media, it's just feel real good that they're on it. They're on it. They're still on it.
Keeping her
compliment the Fuentes family for getting that information out and getting the media involved. And then again, we don't see this as a hindrance or a negative thing, we see it as a positive. We've gotta be very efficient with our time, and your time, the media's time. I think we're even live streaming today because we have news stations beyond our region that want information as well. And if that's what we need to do to get information out, then we'll do so. We will, if we get more significant information, we'll conduct another press conference. But right now, this is what we have and this is where we're at, unfortunately. I wish we had better news, but it is where we're at today.
We had a question to the TV people.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
And I'm sorry that we did not broadcast in Spanish, but it's good enough to get by on the streets, but I would not be doing any justice trying to speak Spanish, something of this magnitude and with this kind of information and verbiage that I don't normally use on a daily basis. So, name, date of birth information, I can get you all day long. But something of this magnitude has to be right. I wouldn't disrespect the language and try to do so. I have a question over
So
there.
how valid is that ping on Avocado Lake, and should we continue to search that area?
Well, the data, this data is not, it's very conclusive. That was the last area that the phone pinged, again, the phone.
Did anyone, sorry, 'cause I know it's just rumors on Facebook, but somebody said that there's been like 3 other pings in that area that were wrong.
What I would say is there's gonna be, and I spoke with Joanne about this, now that this information is being broadcasted all over the nation, we'll get a lot of information. And we have to be very careful on how we vet that information and its credibility. Because and I spoke with Joanne about this in the Fuentes family, we're not gonna say you're on a wild goose chase. So if we have good information and let's say we go out and search it and we have no findings, if we feel it's proper, we'll get that information out to the family. We know the family has an enormous amount of resources. And again, kudos to them. I compliment them for doing all that. Again, we're all parents, or many of us are parents, and we do the same thing. We just have to be mindful of what information we have, what we give, because we can't rule anything out this morning.
So continue to Avocado Lake area.
Right now, that's our best location, and that's where we're at.
Chief, I have a question. Did your ping and one that contract, or was it one ping for that entire area?
That would be what's the word? It's a good question that I can't answer. What we do is they triangulate these pings off of towers. I don't know exactly where those towers are at. It takes a tower here, a tower there, and maybe possibly another tower. I'm not the technological expert. Again, I'm just trying to give a idea of how that information, how that technology works. It takes those cell phones and tries to triangulate the best it can. We understand that there's media now that is more refined, such as Google, and again, as the data comes in, we take it, we analyze it, and try to refine that search, because we want to put people on the ground, but we can't physically search a 15 square mile, especially in this terrain. We're not going to do something just to do it. It's got to be efficient. It is hot, rattlesnakes, dehydration, heat stroke, all those things are things, we take all those things into consideration and try to be as mindful of that when we get information out.
Not I know very much, but you feel for yourself and all officers and everybody here, can you be sure? Put a dot, hear his voice.
I have a question. Adventures with Purpose, they just got logging, and they stated in the news that they were their next stop was here in Selma. Have you guys got with them or coordinated with them and allowing them to do that?
They have not reached out to us to this point that I'm aware of. So they've just
don't need to reach out to the police, we reached out to them, so they're going to take the case over to you guys.
So we're trying to know.
But
Thank you, Ms. Dennis. search and rescue team is also aware as well, because they got information when they were up searching and they ran into a family member up in that area. So again, we're trying to be as transparent as we can, but then be mindful as well of the things that we're responsible for. So I appreciate the family's understanding, their cooperation, and again, our prayers are with you. We know this is a difficult time. Thank you for your patience with us.
Where do people call if they have any tips or information relating to this? Where could they reach you?
559-896-2525. 559-896-2525. Thank you all very much. I appreciate all of you coming out.
Thank you, we thank you very much.
You know,
Family's not complete. It's not complete without her. We're incomplete till she comes home.
Now, loved ones are also expecting help from the independent divers involved in the high-profile search for trucking teen Kylie Rodney.
We're here in Selma, California, looking for 22-year-old Jolissa Fuentes. Jolissa was last seen August 7th, 2022. Right behind me here is the AM/PM where she was last seen on video surveillance at approximately 4:06 a.m.
This was where Jolissa's last recorded financial transaction is, as well as the last confirmed sighting of her and or her vehicle occurred. We are now going to jump right over into meeting with Jolissa's aunt, Jolissa's cousin, and Jolissa's mom, so we can get an idea of who Jolissa was as a person, as well as the circumstances leading up to her disappearance. We really appreciate you guys being here and being brave and courageous to tell Jolissa's story. And that's what we're here to do, is be a voice for Jolissa and draw awareness to Jolissa's disappearance. 2 weeks old, there's still so many possibilities in this case. And I don't want to find your daughter, I don't want to find your niece or your cousin, I don't. We want her to still be out there. I want to be able to finish doing what we do and say, you don't have to worry about any of this. You guys can focus efforts and resources in a more efficient manner elsewhere.
She was born here in Selma, California. She went to school here. She graduated, 3 years ago? She's 22, so 3 years ago? Yeah, she graduated from Selma High 3 years ago. Jolissa liked to be with her family, spend a lot of time with her cousin, so her cousin knows that area more.
She's a very, like if she's around, you can't be sad. Or you can't be mad. You can't hold grudges. She would be like, get over it. Like, you're gonna get over it. Like, we're family. Leave it alone, you know? If you're like sad, you're most definitely gonna laugh if she's in the room, because she's a very like sarcastic person. Very sarcastic. She can't take anything serious. Like, she's always joking about something. If you're mad or whatever, she'll make a joke and you'll start laughing. It's just always a good time when she's around, you know?
Life of the party.
Yes, definitely.
If you tell her to dance, she'll dance.
Yeah.
You know, put on this silly hat, she'll put on the silly hat. Do a little, I don't know, some of the videos that I put up of her, she's doing like a little dance, and then she's telling all her brothers, and you do it.
She's very carefree. Like, she doesn't care what anybody thinks about her or what anybody says about her, you know?
Very dependable.
Very. She's a worker bee, you know? She wouldn't miss work. That's why we knew too. When, when she went missing that Monday morning, I went to her job and waited out there just in case she showed up. Just in case she showed up to work, you know?
Yeah.
And when she didn't show up, even more so, our hearts were broken, because she never does a no call, no show. She's worked at her employer for almost 2 years, and so her not spending her money, and we know something's wrong, because Jolissa, she was a saver. Like, she saved all her money, bought her own car, like paid cash.
Responsible.
Yes, and she still had her money in the bank, and she just loved her family. Like, she was very silly, hilarious, outgoing. You knew she was there. She was a presence, and so not having her in our household has been, presence is missing, and it's going to be missing until we find her. And that's why we're so grateful to you guys, because we know and we're praying and trusting in God that she's not out there. But we need to move from that, like you said, and we need to move to keep searching. And so, but 100%, if this was anybody else in our family, Jolissa would be doing the same thing. She would be the one out there and saying, not stop. These kiddos, like her brother and her sister and Sky and her boyfriend, have been out. They get up crack of dawn, 6 o'clock in the morning until 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning every day, nonstop. That was our morning. 6 o'clock we get up, we're out there till 11, 12 o'clock night. All of us searching these fields, calling each other.
Yeah.
We're over
Sharing all
here.
their locations.
Locations is a mess for all of us now. Like, we need to know where we're at, and so
It's a lot of fight that you guys have.
we're not gonna stop fighting. We're gonna bring her home. Like, we're gonna bring her home. We know and we trust that she's out there somewhere, and we're gonna bring her home. So whoever has her, or if she's with someone, we're not gonna stop looking. You guys need to know that we're not gonna stop looking. Like, we are gonna find her. Like, there is no way that we're not gonna find her.
Can you tell me about any sort of like hobbies that she liked to do or things she liked to do on her free time?
She loved to go out of town. Like, that was her thing. Yeah, drive. She liked to go to the beach. She liked to go to the lake. She just liked to kind of go places where she could clear her mind if she needed to.
Exploring and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Like being out.
Yeah.
But the one thing about her is she didn't ever drive on freeway.
Yeah, no, she doesn't know how to drive on the freeway.
Yeah, she was just scared.
So going a long ways from here.
I like that. I like that.
She wouldn't ever drive on the freeway, so if she did drive on the freeway, we know someone was driving her. So it was either her friend, her brother.
Is there a reason for that? She's just scared of that.
She's just scared of the freeway.
She never even drove to my house in Fresno. I live in Fresno. My son would drive them to my house because she doesn't drive on the freeway. And my 16-year-old drives on the freeway, and he'd be like, "Come on, Jolissa, like, why aren't you driving? You know, get it together."
She's like, no, the freeway. So we know for sure that if she's on the freeway, like, someone has her, because she would drive to like Pine Flat or Avocado.
Yeah, that's it. Like, she wouldn't get around here at night.
The valley, no big freeways. Like, she was scared of them.
So did she was she in a relationship?
No.
Not at the moment, okay.
No relationship, just her friends that she hangs out with. I know that, I don't know if you're familiar with it, she did go to like a family friends gathering. There was like a party for a family friend, and she was there. And from that on.
And where was that at?
That was here in Selma.
It's like down the street from my grandma's house.
From her house.
And that, when was the party?
That same day she went missing.
The same day she went missing. Yeah. So that morning she left there. I think was it about
2:30ish, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 2:30, and then she came home.
She called David Joey, and then from there, that last thing, she was at the AM/PM at 4:06 a.m. She takes off to the country, and then at 5:24 or 5:26, she makes a FaceTime call to my daughter.
So she was at an AM/PM gas station. That's where she was caught on video surveillance, and that's here in Selma.
Down the street.
And then this was after the party.
After the party.
Okay. And do we know what she was doing at the gas station?
She was buying something. She bought something, and then she swiped her card. She walked into the car, and then she took off west.
Do we know what she bought?
I don't know.
They didn't tell us. We wanted to see the receipts, and they
kept everything. Yeah.
So but the police department has that.
They probably do. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, because that whole time when we were when she went down Nebraska
Avenue.
Yeah, we were searching all that time, but I guess they had the footage already that she came back into town, and we didn't know.
We were out there in the country for days. All of us. And even our family we were going through roads and like.
And so you said they have her coming back into town.
Right.
What was the time gap there?
They didn't tell us the time. They just said her phone was pinged in the Avocado Pine Flat Lake area that morning. That was the last ping.
But we didn't get that until barely last week, right? Because we started searching on our own. So we were out there for a whole week, like with major search teams, searching those fields, those vineyards, those ditches, those trees. Abandoned houses, abandoned property. For about a week, having mass searches out there, that whole area, drones. Eagle One, they reached out, and Eagle One was helicopters, out there, and then they ended up coming. We didn't find out. She turned back into the news conference that they had, that she came back into town, and that's when we knew that, whoa, she came back into town. We didn't know. We spent so much time.
So how did they know she came back into town?
They said they have her on camera. They have footage of her coming back in town. Because I was like, when the chief called my husband, where they were talking, and I said, well, do you guys have her, like, did she come back into town by herself? And he goes, I could tell you she came back from the country by herself, but I'm not going to tell you where.
Did they give a time?
No.
And they didn't tell us, because when she went out, they said she was by herself, so they said possibly she drove through Sanger. And so, right, because they said Sanger on the conference, and so Sanger is going towards Avocado Lake. You go through that town, right? And she would go through there because I don't think she would go the other route because it's the freeway. And so
she had to go through little roads.
Yeah, she had to go through little roads. And so, but they didn't say at that point if she was with someone at that time, so they wouldn't disclose to us. And so we were like, wow, we had many people out there searching for days out there. Days.
Yeah, so, coming into this, everybody's been telling me Pine Flat, Avocado Lake, and those still are areas of interest for me. I guess my biggest question in this at the moment is we have to identify if they know it was her in the vehicle. So if they're confident that it was her vehicle, I need to know how do they know she was in the vehicle? You know what I mean? It's an active investigation, so they're never going to be open the way you want them to. I know that's not what you guys want to hear, and it's not helping your hearts or your minds. But that's normal because, they always have to investigate things, for the worst case scenario. And they have to treat everybody like they may be a suspect. So they're not going to be open all the time.
Yeah, we told them that.
Investigate us first,
we said, please,
get us out the way.
Yeah, we said, please start with us, because we know how it is.
Yeah.
Start with us, we're all open. Come to our house, rip them apart, do what you need to do to get us out of the way so you can focus on her and where you need to go, because we're trusting in you guys, and so we understand that whole part of them not being able to divulge information to us because it could be critical, and there's so many of us, and we told them, but we're a resource to you guys. If you guys, we don't have a big department here, and they're doing the best that they can, but we're a resource, and you tell us that you have a smaller location, we can have over 100 people here searching. We're a resource, and so we will be present. We just need your help, And so, and they're doing their best. We know they are. They limited resources. People, the time of COVID and people getting ill. It's just, but that's why we started to reach out. And if she's in those waters, we just need that peace of mind to move on from there. So.
And then, do you guys have any theories as to what happened to her?
The thing about Jolissa, she always told people where she was. Like, she told me that night that she was at her friend's gathering, and then she called her brother to tell him that she was going to the AMPM. And I don't know what the last call was for, but to her sister later on that night, but she did always call and tell people where she was going. She never would go somewhere without leaving everybody clueless about where she was.
She's smart.
Yes.
Yeah, she's smart. She knows.
Like a little heads up.
Yes, always, yeah.
And they said that she made a phone call at 5:26 a.m.
Yeah, was the last time she ever, that we know to us, that she called my sister, my daughter.
At that hour, is the sun just coming up? Like, is
It's just coming
Yeah,
up.
it's just coming up. There's like,
it's still kind of dark?
it's still kind of dark, but there's like, the light. Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes about, from the AM, PM, if she was at Avocado Lake. So, like, for us, we're like, okay, well, she was out there at 4:06, and then the call came at 5-something. There's a whole hour there. Like, what happened in that hour? Like, there's something going. Something happened. She stopped somewhere. She went somewhere. So we have done all the coordinates. We started mapping. We did the timing. So it takes about almost 45 minutes to an hour to get to Avocado Lake from AM, PM. So, we timed it and tried to, see the routes, how we would possibly go. We stopped at people's houses. Do you have cameras? Everybody, if you can let us know your cameras to see at your homes, just to take the time to look. We're more than willing to go put the time in to look at your cameras if you're too busy, so.
So no other financial transactions on her
That
card?
we know. They told us no. They said that was the last purchase that she made there. She didn't have credit cards. She didn't like to, she's really good with her money. She was like, I ain't paying for that. Like, I'll give you my money.
Did she carry large amounts of cash or?
No, she kept everything on her card.
Yeah, that's what we know. Like, hasn't used any of her money. She has all this money in the bank, and it's just nothing. I don't know if they have information, and they're probably not, we don't know because, disclosing, they don't want to like hinder their operation, and we understand that we're a huge family and we have so many people willing to help that they know that if they tell us something, we're gonna go in a mass number to go search or what. So they've really been, but which we have. But because she's ours,
It's all going.
she's our priority. I mean, we appreciate everybody and everything, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, we don't still have her home. We still have that void, and we're still looking, and we're gonna continue to look until she comes home.
She's our baby. She's our baby girl. So we gotta find her. We gotta bring her home.
Was there at any time any type of drugs related in her life, or was there anybody in her circle that was involved with drugs, or
Drinking and just drinking.
just normal drinking, party?
Not like any
social
hardcore drugs that.
Okay. All right. And where did you guys work?
And at Custom Produce in Pearl.
Okay.
So my sister-in-law, my other sister-in-law, runs that whole packing house, and that's the daughter.
Produce packing house?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's the manager there, and then this is my niece, and then that's where Jolissa worked.
So who initially reported?
Grandma.
How did that happen? Like, it was like, all right, we have to do this.
Grandma went to church and then texted her, and then she didn't respond. Grandma goes to church, comes back out, and sends her another text message. She doesn't respond. She knew something was wrong.
And she said, and we always have a family joke, like, if she doesn't answer, then she was like, hey, you need to get a hold of us, or like, or any of the kids, like, if you don't call within 8 hours, we're on you, like, hey, where are you at? And so when she didn't respond back, my mom texted her, hey, you don't text me right now, call me, I'm calling the FBI. Like, we say that to each other. And then, boom, she's like, okay, I'm here, I'm here. I mean, I fell asleep or whatever, but never a whole day, like, never more than, like, 8 hours. She's always checking in, so we knew instantly, like, something was wrong. Like, we were on it. This is out of her character.
And were you there when that happened?
No, I live in Fresno. I live in Fresno. Grandma called me like a couple hours later, and she's like, hey, this is what's going on, and we Zoom.
Straight to voicemail.
I told her to call. Like, I call her every day, and I tell her, like, hey, we're gonna find you wherever you're at. Like, you just don't give up hope. Like, we're coming for you, Jolissa. Like, if you do have your phone and it turns on for some reason, like, we're blowing her up. Like, every day I text her every day, like, I love you. We're coming for you. Don't lose hope, because we have faith. We're raised in church. You raised, to know the Lord. You have to have faith. We're coming for you. We're gonna find you.
Did Jolissa have any type of physical or health problems?
No.
So she didn't take medication for anything?
No.
She's completely healthy, young, bright, beautiful, energetic.
Yeah,
responsible.
silly, super silly.
The year, make, and model of her vehicle?
It's a Honda Accent, 2011 silver.
4 doors, correct? 4 doors?
The back windows are tinted.
Back windows are tinted?
These are a little bit bubbly, like, they're coming
Okay, so
out.
it's an older tint. Okay.
Yeah.
The license plates is AMPU 766. It's engraved in our print.
It is.
What tips have come in?
Hundreds and hundreds of my phones blowing up. Like, okay, we seen this car over here on this area. Traver, Kingsburg, Cutler. Okay, who's closer to here? One of us go over there. It's not the car. We seen this, this vehicle over here, and then who's closer by there? There we go. So, and so I was like, okay, like, if you guys could take a picture, like, if you see or you suspecting, take a picture of the license, send it to me, so then, we won't go an hour away, and we even went to like these mountains in Cutler, Norosi. Some lady was like, no, I seen some guy standing here, that was the vehicle. So there goes me and my husband. He had to climb a big old hill, and there was nothing there. But we gotta check them all out,
Right,
because
you never know if it's that one,
So at the time, Jolissa was staying with Grandma?
Yes.
Yeah, Jolissa lives with Grandma.
Yeah.
Jolissa
Yeah.
lives with Grandma.
Yeah.
And what about her room? Is there any clothes missing?
No,
Are there any signs of anything?
Nothing. Everything, the bed's made, everything.
She
Nothing alarming whatsoever.
Nothing. It's still all her Amazon bags and all her ordering, you know.
And her bed's made, like, everything.
She was gonna come, like, her intent was to come home. Like, she called her brother, and he was out in Fresno, and he was gonna come home, and said that they were gonna meet up, like, you know.
She was gonna go to the store, be right
I'll go to the
home.
store. And
Did she have anything planned over the next few days?
no, because Sunday, she usually just relaxes because she works Monday, so.
Everything I'm getting is, this is completely uncharacteristic.
Very.
100%.
100%.
Not like her. Not even an inkling of like.
Not even an
yes.
inkling.
Yes.
100% no
This
doubt.
is very, you know, and this is alarming. You know, we're not talking about someone who, you know, was familiar with, you know, the streets and the life of the streets and, you know, shady characters and.
That's why we knew since day one that there was something wrong, because this is not her. Like, not even a little bit.
Tell me more about the cell phone information.
Well, they haven't released anything to us at all.
Not a time. They didn't give a time on that pin.
What about?
No, they said early morning.
Okay,
Sunday.
so
Well,
tell
they
me.
said 5:30 to 8, remember? 5:30 to 8.
The Acres.
The avocado, like the ping, I think it was between 5:30 and 8 or something like that. But that they didn't tell us like more. They said a 15-mile.
Yeah, I've spoken with Fresno County Sheriff.
So whatever they shared with you, that's what they've only shared with you.
Yeah, I've spoken with the sheriff, off the record. I mean, I can't tell you what she told me, but I can tell you that what they have was just very vague, which was just an area, and that the cell phone tower in that region is not accurate like it would be in, say, the city of Fresno or Selma, where they can really get a good grip of it. So to kind of see what they know, let's talk about what they did. Like, where did they go first to search?
We don't know. When we were out there searching, we didn't see one cop out there searching with us at all. It was just us. Us
For the whole week.
For the whole week. It was us and our family and our, like, complete strangers that were coming and searching with us. We didn't see, we were even giving out flyers to, like, if we would see, like, a sheriff out there in the country, we would stop by and we'd give them a thing. They didn't even know.
Yeah.
They didn't even know. We'd give them a flyer. And because me and my husband, we stopped with the sheriffs, we stopped with highway patrols. Like, any time that we seen, like, any police enforcement out there, we're handing them flyers. They didn't even know. Even though we made it clear to them that this was urgent, that this is unlikely, like her, she would not do this. And we started immediately posting, and then it just, you know, like, we got, because we know a lot of people, you know, just trickled
That
down.
night, you know, we were already.
But we knew since day one. I don't know if they took it at, well, to me it seems like they didn't take it as urgent as we did.
Because I mean, we
understand.
We understand, you know, like we understand. There's so many people just
And they don't know.
don't come home. You know, they might want to just go out. They're like, she's a typical 22-year-old. You know, kids go out. I mean, heck, I can say when I was young like that, I would go out and, you know, I mean, sometimes not come home. I mean, but Jolissa wasn't like that. She made it clear to let people know that where she was at. Sky and her brother and sister, they were best friends, like, and they always communicated with each other. And so for her not to come home, it was just, we knew. And so the search, we had people that reached out to us, like we had family friends that had helicopters, and they're like, we're out there, we want to help. Family friends that had just even the public, like we have drones. They've been like pushing. PD said that they went out there and did drones and they flew. That we know they never told us, and so we don't really know if they told the media. Then they told media, but to tell us directly, no, we don't. We don't know what.
So no official, you know, search parties that you know of have been organized from them.
In the city, no, I
Absolutely
don't.
not.
Yeah, unless
Absolutely not. Not here.
not here. Yeah,
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, and speaking with the lieutenant from Fresno County Sheriff, I mean, I know that they told me that they've done a lot of searching up in the hills. I think she described over 700 miles of back road driving and by her sheriffs.
I did bump into one of them, like, cause
Probably in the hills, and probably like a week after that we had been searching, us unknown to us, but that we knew of when we were out here in the country, there was nobody out there but us.
So no tips that were credible or have led to anything no theories that, oh, this might have happened or this argument may have happened or nothing like that whatsoever.
Well, with Julie, she did get in an argument that morning.
Yeah, she got in an argument with her at the family gathering. It was her best friend's family gathering. She got in an argument with her friend that was there.
But that's not.
No, it wasn't a physical like fight or anything. It was just a little argument.
It's just a normal
friend argument. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, don't get that twisted. I mean, is it something I don't know? But if it's not alarming to you guys and your family, then it's just something normal.
They pulled her in for questioning. They did all that. And,
you know,
we
did too. We went over there.
In a mass number, we interrogated her.
Well, anything like any little tip that we got, we go out there like and we investigate.
Something has happened to her. Like, what do you guys want people to know? I mean, what like at this moment, if that's the case, somebody knows something, you know, and they need to come forward. You know, so if there's anything that you want to say to those people or to the people that may know those people that may know something,
come forth. If you guys know anything, please let us know where Jolissa is. We love her, we miss her, and we need her. We want her home. So if you know anything and anything that'll lead us to her, please let us know.
Or if you the ones that have her, like, she's ours. Like, please let her go. That's our family is not complete without her, and you have that power to let her go. That you just find it in your hearts to just to let her go. I mean, we don't want nothing from you. If you want the reward, we just want her. Like, just let her go. We won't drop her off somewhere, or we won't say anything to anybody. We can just be complete. But we're just asking, please, like, just bring her home. Let her go if you have her, because this is just, you have family. What if this was your family and someone did this to you? Like, just let her go.
if Jolissa is here and, you know, she is underwater, I promise you I will find her. I promise you that. We will find her. That 100% we will find her. But like I said, I don't want that, you know. Our hope is she's still out there and she's gonna be found.
Still out there. She's alive.
She's alive.
She's a fighter too. Like
you guys are fighters, and anybody out there that knows, you guys should be very extremely nervous, because this family is not going to stop.
Oh no, we're not going to stop ever. We're bringing her home.
Yeah. We are not going to stop. You know, this is far from what you expected, and this is you know, this is going to be a voice for her that's going to be extremely loud. We're going to make sure that, with that being said, you know, we're here to be a resource for your family.
Avocado Lake. Avocado Lake.
That was her spot right there.
Avocado Lake.
And Pine Flat Dam. So explain to me, like, what the reasoning is for that. Like, what makes you say, Doug, Nick, like, you guys have to go there?
Common location where she would go.
She always went to Avocado Lake. She took us up there with her to Avocado Lake. That was like her spot. That was like if she wanted to go to the lake, that was where she was going. But if it was closed around the time that she was there, knowing her, she would have been like, oh, I'm already up here. I'll just go more up the mountain. I'll keep going straight.
Closed. Is there a gate there?
I think it's at 6 that it opens the lake, the gate to go into Avocado Lake. So if it was closed around that time, then we would say the next spot would be Pine Flat.
Yeah.
And how long of a drive is that to get there from here?
From here, about 35, 40 minutes, 40, 45.
Here, 45.
So she could have been there right when it opened.
Yeah.
Because the AM PM was
406.
406.
The last phone call was 5:26.
Yeah, especially if it was dark and she can't see. That's why she has her glasses. She can't see. She's blind, so.
Is there anything that we haven't asked? Is there anything that you want to talk about?
Just, you know, we're hoping and we're praying for you guys that you guys are guided to the right direction. We hope you guys don't find her.
Yeah.
We really do. But if she's out there, we want her. We want her home.
Yeah.
So we're just praying that, you know, God gives you the guidance and gives you guys eyes like eagles, and that you are able to, you know, search the right locations, and, you know, if she's out there, then we need her home.
But everything happens for a reason. Right. We have to trust in the Lord, and have faith, and yeah, we're gonna get to working really hard, and we're just gonna get right to it. You know, we'll leave here and we'll go up. We'll start at Avocado, and then we'll go to Pine Flat. You know, we'll be flying drones as well, and it'll be a long, hard day. This is just what we do.
11, a Selma family is asking for your help in locating their missing daughter. 22-year-old Jolissa Fuentes was seen last Sunday at an AM/PM gas station. There's a $5,000 reward for any information about her.
Adventures with Purpose resumed the search for Jolissa Fuentes at Pine Flat on Friday. The volunteer divers spent hours looking for any sign of the 22-year-old woman after her cell phone pinged in this general area. Contacted the YouTubers after seeing their track record.
They have been so awesome and compassionate. They have the same goal as our family, not to find her out there, but they said, you know, this will give us assurance 100%.
For now, they continue holding on to their faith.
That's all we have.
Yes. Yeah.
That's all we have is faith. What else can we do?
We know that she's out there. We know she's alive. We know that you know, she's gonna come home soon.
The Fuentes are praying for good news.
We've been here for the past 5 days searching.
On Saturday, Jolissa Fuentes' loved ones carried out another search for the 22-year-old missing woman.
Trying to find anything any belongings of my daughter, whether it was her purse, any of her clothing, her car, and I hate to say it, even my daughter herself.
Jolissa pulls up at 4:04 a.m. She buys a cigar, and she's back in her 2011 silver Hyundai Accent by 4:06 a.m. But then she drives off and makes a left on Nebraska Avenue.
Fuentes was last seen on August 7th at an AM/PM gas station in Selma at 4 a.m. Nebraska Avenue. But Jolissa's family says she should have turned right to go back home. There have since been daily searches for her in orchards, dirt roads, lakes, and around the city, but there has been no luck in finding her as of yet.